Welcome to Pig Pods. We give you actionable insight and stories behind real-life success wherever you go. Here are your hosts, Angelos and Mo.
Welcome to Pig Pods, your success podcast. I'm Angelos.
And I'm Mo. And we've got a really special episode for you today on Pig Pods. As you know, we're all about success, and for a lot of people that means business success, financial success, and success in family life. But today we're looking at the often overlooked topic of personal health and wellbeing success. And we're privileged to have someone with us today who's a personal trainer with 9 years experience, who has trained over 500 people and has had some incredible results both for his clients and in his own fitness journey. So welcome and thanks for joining us, James Jordan.
That's okay, no worries at all.
So before we get into the details of the training programs that you get involved with, James, and keeping motivated, what age did you get into fitness and what started that for you?
So I actually was always into fitness when I was younger. So even as a kid, I did a lot of sports. But actually, in the gym side of things, it was at 16, finished my GCSEs, and then you have like 10, 12 weeks off then, don't you? And I started religiously every day, cycling to the gym, in the gym for about an hour, hour and a half, then cycling home. Then from there it just developed. Just kept going really, just haven't stopped since.
What was the tipping point for you, I guess? Was it purely that you got into it and you loved it and you got that buzz from it to make it a career?
To start off with, I was a little bit overweight as a kid. Believe it or not, I was a little bit overweight. So in my head I was right, I've got to get fit. I've got to have a six-pack to get the girl. So that was my mindset. At 16, I've got to be in the best shape possible, to give myself, a fighting chance out there.
And did you get any girls? Just
I got a few.
Okay, that's great.
So James, it's that time of year when people are setting goals for 2018. Dry January is extremely popular. I'm literally trying my best at the moment as we speak. But apart from trying to look good and obviously impress the girls, why do you think health and fitness is so important?
Well, obviously health and fitness is massively important in your life because it affects everything about you. Obviously everything down to your relationships, how you feel, your confidence, and just your overall well-being really. No one else can control it. The amount of people that come in and see me each week and I'll tell them, you need to do this. If they leave the door and don't do it, it doesn't affect me, it affects them.
Yeah.
So I've gave them the advice, it's up to them to actually apply it to give them the best quality of life possible. That's what it's all about. We all want a good quality of life.
Yeah.
We don't want to work till we're 60.
Yeah.
Sit down and then that's it. Do you know what I mean? You want to then retire and actually go off and be able to enjoy the rest of your life.
And at Nuffield, where you work, they call it health and wellbeing advisor as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I think is quite an interesting way to phrase it and quite important because it is more than just
I think
training for the sake of it. It's about your general wellbeing.
Yeah, I think what we do at Nuffield is very different to most gyms, to be fair. Because we give people that all-round overlook at their health. Obviously linked in with the hospital, so we get a lot of people come from the hospital, come down, do their rehab after operations. Then also general public who come in, who've got no idea, and we'll do things like their blood glucose, cholesterol, which you would never know about unless you have those tests done. And that's massively important for a lot of people.
Angelos and I have actually both had ours done, and I think we were a little bit surprised with both of our results, weren't we?
Yeah, I got 67% after running a series of tests on my blood sugar, cholesterol and things like that. So it's a really good test to have done because it gives you a benchmark to work towards, which leads me on to my next question, James, about measuring. So they say goals should be SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic and time-bound. And they say you can't always manage what you can't measure or don't measure. So what kind of measurable things can people put in place to get that benchmark to see where they are and how they can improve?
Obviously the first thing a lot of people do is everyone just looks at scales, especially women. It's scales. All they care about is what that number's saying. But at the end of the day, that is literally your relationship to gravity. Do you know what I mean? So much is different. Say you can have two people that both weigh 60 kilos, but their actual body shape is very different. So a good one to look at is obviously their whole body composition. So looking at that lean muscle mass, their body fat percentage, that's a good one to start with. Even places like Holland and Barrett, they'll do body scans. That's through electrodes, so it's not like the most accurate test in the world. It's very consistent, so if you go there once a month at the same sort of time of day, you'll get a very consistent result. If you're improving, you'll see your body fat percentage drop, your lean muscle mass increase. So that's one way you can go about it. Or photos are very good. So like take a photo, obviously say start of January, come mid-February, take a photo, get them together, then compare them, so you can actually then physically see the difference. Because most people look themselves in the mirror, if we're being honest, 4-5 times a day. You may not notice it, but you are looking in the mirror constantly, so you won't see those subtle changes day to day. But with those like 6 weeks difference in the photos, you'll be able to see a big difference.
Yes, it goes back to the whole compound effect, where you keep regularly doing it, and there's small little imperceptible changes that compounded over a month, 2 months, etc., etc. So then you just got to keep going rather than expecting a six-pack after a week.
Oh
for
yeah,
example.
it's all about consistency. Do you know what I mean? People want results yesterday.
Yeah.
They forget it's took them 3-4 years to put that weight on potentially.
Yeah.
But they want it off in 4 weeks. Doesn't really measure up, does it?
So I think that leads on really nicely to the next question, which is how do you stay on track and get disciplined in the gym and keep that consistency? And how can people that don't work in a gym 6 days a week maintain that motivation and actually make the time in their day to take the time out to go to the gym? And
I think that's a really good one, to be fair, because a lot of people, obviously being January, come in and go, oh, I'm going to smash the gym 5-6 days a week, but they've never trained before that. So it's just unrealistic. People set unrealistic goals. They want to lose 3-4 stone in, by March. So, but what I say to a lot of people is come in, set a realistic goal. If we can start off, say you come to the gym 3 times a week, and then we can build from that. You start see some results, you get some enjoyment from those results, and then all of a sudden it becomes a habit. And then I'll come 4 times a week. And then obviously 6 months down the line, you're then becoming regularly 5-6 times a week. Or even if it's not even the gym, it could be out walking the dog. Obviously we're here in Plymouth at the minute, so you've got obviously the moors, you've got the beaches, we're all within like 20-30 minute drive. So it doesn't have to be gym based, it can just be moving more.
I think that's the thing. I think I find that if you make a small change and start to go to the gym, you then find that you're more conscious about your nutrition, which we're going to come on to later, and even small things like making a decision to walk somewhere rather than driving or getting the bus or whatever, or getting a taxi. So even just increasing from no activity to a little bit will then have other knock-on effects in your life.
Oh yeah, massively. Yeah, even just the smallest amount of activity. Obviously the government recommend 10,000 steps a day,
right?
Which there's no reason why anyone can't achieve that. That's not that far. Realistic walking, it's getting in from work and going, right, instead of driving down to the shop to pick up milk, I'm going to walk down the shop. It's only 2-3 minutes. It's just moving more. You go into the shopping mall, do you take the escalator or do you take the stairs? I know what I'd take, but
I know what I did yesterday, but we won't go into that.
Is there a taxi option?
Yeah.
So would you say one of the biggest things that people do to set themselves up to fail, maybe not consciously, is set 2 unrealistic goals at the beginning of the year? So it should be small, steady increases as opposed to I'm going to have that 6-pack in a week time.
Yeah, definitely. Starting off small goals and then building from there. Get one goal. A lot of people, they set 5 or 6 goals as well. So what I always say to people is set one goal, give it a couple of weeks, let that embed into your lifestyle, and then let's add the next one in and then build it from there. So it's not just I'm going to make all these massive changes and knowing in 2-3 weeks it's not going to be
It becomes overwhelming, doesn't it?
And then if you keep doing it, it becomes a habit, and then it becomes a natural thing, and so you don't give up in January, February, you keep it going right throughout the year. Definitely. So then hopefully in January 2019 or wherever it may be, you're not saying I'm going to hit the gym again. It's a consistent weekly
you're already
thing.
doing it.
James, let me ask you, what's been the best result you've had with a client?
Best result? So that will probably take me about 4 or 5 years ago now. I won't say his name, but
you can say my name if you want. It's fine, I don't mind.
Mo does train with me, but this guy here. So he come in. I was working at the gym group actually in Plymouth. It's a budget gym. It's a 24-hour thing, and he was massively overweight, 27, 28 stone.
And how tall was he?
He was
not tall enough to
6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
But he was a big guy.
Yeah.
Real out of shape. When we first started walking, it was a struggle. We would walk 5 minutes, he'd be out of breath, he'd be sweating. Forward on 18 months, he's completed Plymouth Half Marathon.
Wow.
He's dropped over, looking back now, it must have been 13, even 14 stone in weight.
That's incredible.
But what the best thing was, he was diagnosed as type 2 diabetic the week before he came in and saw me. So within 6 weeks, we get him off medication, and he hasn't had to touch medication since. So obviously that's just a whole massive life-changing experience.
That's a mega change.
That's
incredible.
You've potentially stopped someone dying there.
Yeah, potentially stopped someone dying.
Yeah.
Completely just saved his life without blowing smoke up.
Yeah.
So do you find it's the pain sometimes that motivates people more than it's being
More than the pleasure.
reactive as opposed to being proactive? So rather than being at death's door or having diabetes diagnosed, and that's what prompts you, do you find a lot of people...
Now, most people need that little kick.
Yeah.
They need something to shock them, to go, oh, I didn't realise it was that bad.
It's sort of that one dress you can't get into, speaking of personal experience. No, it's sort of that one dress or the shirt that doesn't fit anymore, the trousers, or the comment that someone made, or or you got out of breath walking up the stairs when you...
I think what you just said there about the little comment.
Yeah.
People, certain things stick with people. Someone make a comment without meaning to be horrible, and that comment will stick in the head, and sometimes even that's all it takes is a close friend to say something to actually be like, oh, something is wrong here. I need to make a change.
Yeah, and sometimes we need to be honest with the people around us. We need to tell them, actually, I think you're letting yourself go.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Rather than congratulating them every time that they go to the gym, or where were you telling me 6 months ago that I was quite a large overweight person? And just for the record, I just want to say that Mo looks extremely good in a dress.
Thanks, mate.
No, I think that's really important though, especially when we're at Nuffield, when people are in with our health assessments. We don't just go around it as it's all okay. We'll be honest, and some people don't like that. I actually had a complaint put against me a couple of weeks ago.
For being too honest.
For being honest, she didn't like what I had to say. Giving her some honest truths, but I was just telling her the truth about her health.
But you've got objective measures to back that up. You're not just saying subjectively, I think you're like this.
No, I've got your cholesterol's this, your glucose is this, your waist to hip ratio is this, your BMI's this. I don't like using BMI quite a lot.
What's BMI for people that don't know?
So that's your body mass index.
Right.
So that's looking at your heights and your weight sort of thing, and where you should be on the list. Ideally, like the list starts from like underweight, ideal weight for your heights, overweight, obese, clinically obese. So she come in at clinically obese. I don't always like using BMI simply because for bodybuilders, it
would say you're overweight.
It would say you're overweight.
Yeah.
Even for me, I'm classed as overweight, even though I'm not. But for the general public who do exercise, it's a great way of measuring where you are. But she didn't like the fact that I told her where she was, and you need to change your health for you to have a long, prosperous life.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, that's your job, I guess, to be brutally honest with people. So that's really good. What are your top tips for working out and getting into shape? So I suppose we've already talked about the consistency of making sure that you're going along to the gym consistently and changing things about your diet and stuff. But in terms of training, I suppose let's talk about kind of cardio versus weights training and high reps versus high weights, all those kind of things. What would you say about that?
So probably the first thing would be give yourself a plan. Actually have an idea of why you're going into the gym. A lot of people come in and they'll go, I do 10 minutes on the cross trainer, I do 10 minutes on the rower, I do have a little run, and I'll just use a few of the machines. But they don't really know what they're looking to achieve. So if you've got a goal set in your head, go and speak to the gym staff. It doesn't matter what gym you go to, that's what they're there for at the end of the day. They're not there just to stand around and look pretty all the time. They're actually there to help you, do you know what I mean?
And I think there's real parallels of that in the business and investing world. So you've got to start with the end in mind. We've talked about vision and goal setting before on previous podcasts, and that's exactly the same. You've got to start with the end in mind. Otherwise, you start this business and you hire people and you go out and get customers, but if it's not leading towards what you want to get, it's sort of, you're a busy fool. And it's similar. So that's what I'm saying. It's similar in the gym.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, yeah. Go and speak to them. Yeah. And be like, okay, this is what I want to achieve, and then they can then set you up with programs. It doesn't have to. It's usually part of your membership anyway for most gyms. And then you can go from there. Okay, so I want to run a half marathon, so it's going to be pointless me doing loads of weights. Yes, we have to do weights to strengthen up our legs, but it's going to be starting off, building up that general fitness, getting you running, getting your body used to that running. Or obviously if you want to bulk up, if you want to build some muscle, we'll go, okay, cardio still needs to play a role in it. You need to have a strong heart and lungs to get that blood to the muscles when you do your weights. Yeah. So you can't just ignore it. but then it's hitting your big compound moves. So that'll be things like your deadlifts, your squats, your pull-ups, your bench press, big compound moves to build the strength, and then little things alongside that as well.
James, they say a six-pack is made in the kitchen. How important is nutrition when training?
So nutrition is massively important. I wouldn't agree with that statement as such. Obviously it gets chucked around quite a lot, six-packs made in the kitchen. Obviously the kitchen is all about the control of calories. So everyone has a maintenance level to maintain their weight. If they want to lose weight, to have their six-pack shown by losing body fat, they need to make sure they're in a calorie deficit. Or if they want to put on muscle, they need to make sure they're in a calorie surplus, to help them build muscle, to have the extra calories to build the muscle. But your actual six-pack is built in the gym. Think of it as any other muscle. You've got to do weighted ab work to develop that muscle to make it more prominent. And then from there, the kitchen's really important to control your actual weight. Obviously, if you're carrying too much body fat, you'll never see a six-pack. Simple as that. You may have the strongest abs in the world. Someone like Eddie Hall, world's strongest man, he's going to have a massively strong core, but can you see his abs? No, because he's always in a calorie surplus to help him build the muscle. So it's not all about, obviously, in the kitchen sort of thing.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing his abs. I bet it'd be massive.
Yeah,
it would be
like blocks. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, like breeze blocks.
But there's sometimes you see the world's strongest man, and these guys, they're not ripped. They've got incredibly strong, but their core is just a trunk of muscle, as opposed to it being this really defined abdomen.
Very different sorts of body types there.
Which leads me nicely on to my next question, James. That was very good. So so in my opinion, you've got two colossals of weight and fitness training, and one of them is Bruce Lee with his mega strength and his ripped body, and then you've got the walking colossus of Arnold Schwarzenegger, that has his incredible bulky muscular body. So are you destined to be the size you're born with, or can anyone become these two body shapes?
So you are, to a degree, obviously destined to be what you're going to be. There are three different types of body types. You have an ectomorph, mesomorph, and mesomorph, I think. Which I think it's been a while actually since I've used those words. But yeah, so think of people like Paula Radcliffe. She is up and down, fairly skinny, very good at running. Or you have your rugby players. They're not taking anything. They're not on added supplementation to develop that size, the broadness of the rugby player's shoulders. Everyone has a certain type. You can help move it around slightly. You can move some of your muscle fibers by certain training. But if you're destined to be, tall and skinny, just embrace that. Embrace, the way you are, and use that to your advantage, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Okay, so there's an element of what you're born with, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to end up with.
Yeah.
So you can. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Anyone can become overweight. By eating too many calories, as simple as that. By eating too much food, drinking too much alcohol, anyone can become overweight. But actual muscular wise, certain people will be quicker, some people will be stronger, some people have better endurance. Everyone knows someone that will turn and say, I'm not built for running.
Yeah.
So
cool.
So James, we're going to, as part of when we put the podcast out, we're going to share the pictures of you when you sort of cut up for the competition, and you did some photo shoots and stuff like that. So, but I want to put that in context because obviously there's a hell of a lot of work that went into that and time. We don't want people to see that and think, okay, yeah, that's cool. Six weeks in the gym and
that's achievable.
Smash that. Yeah. So we spoke about this sort of briefly before, but can you just briefly go through sort of the run up to that? So I suppose there was a couple of years in the making, and then the week immediately before it. I think it's an interesting bit as well.
That's cool. So I'm not entirely sure what photos you're going to put on. I'm guessing it's going to be the most recent ones, I'm hoping.
I think so, yeah.
So for a lot of people, remember that is, at that point of that photo shoot, that's 8 years worth of consistent training.
Right. And you're like 9 times a week or sort of 6
so obviously, remember, I know what I'm doing as well. Do you know what I mean? So I know what I'm doing. That's took me 9 years to get to that point. So I'm quite lucky, obviously I work in a gym.
Yeah.
So some days on a Monday, I teach a spin class in the evening, I'll do my own weights in the evening, so some days I can hit double sessions. So over the course of the week I'll probably train about 8 to 9 times a week. For most people, that's just not possible with a 9 to 5 job. Do you know what I mean? So obviously I've had 8 years building up to that point.
Yeah.
and then I put myself on a strict 12-week cut, where I'm in a calorie deficit for those 12 weeks. Real high intense weight sessions with a lot higher rep range than what I do usually. So obviously, because I'm looking at stripping down and burning as many calories as possible just to get rid of all that extra fat. So obviously, when you're looking at building muscle, your rep ranges are somewhere between like 6 to 12 repetitions to build hypertrophy, to build muscle. Where here, I'm doing anything from like 15 to 20, even up to 30 reps at a time. Really just fatiguing that muscle, burning it out, using as much energy as possible for that 12 weeks. But then the week before, there's a lot goes on that week. It's all about science, to be fair. One, there is a spray tan involved to make you more defined. Once the camera's on you, you got all those lights coming down at you. So yes, there is a spray tan on there. I'm not naturally that brown all year round. I wish I was.
Are we talking Ross from Friends kind of spray tan level here, James?
No, I'm not orange.
Right, okay.
I'm not orange. But then there's also a water drop. So I will do a water drop leading up the week prior to it. So with a water drop, it's to eventually lose all that water between muscle and skin.
Yeah.
So imagine the photo shoot was on a Friday. On the Sunday, I'd start off drinking 3 litres of water. On the Monday, 4, and build it all the way up to 24 hours prior to the photo shoot.
And just for our listeners at home or people watching, this has to be done in a controlled environment. You can't just do this stuff. Seek advice first.
This is very dangerous.
Yeah.
So up to 24 hours prior to the photo shoot, I will then stop drinking. So that morning of Thursday morning, I'll drink about 7 litres of water within 6 hours. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite dangerous. So then I'll be weeing constantly. Do you know what I mean? I'll be back and forth to the toilet every hour. Then I stop drinking from midday. But my body's so used to having all that water in the system, I'll keep going to it. So I'll keep weeing, and I'll eventually become very dehydrated. So at that point of photo shoot, I am now 24 hours without a single drop of water, which is quite dangerous because you flush all your vitamins and minerals out of your system just to drop off that extra 1 or 2 pound of water between muscle and skin to make you look as defined as possible. And then the evening prior to the photo shoot, I'll have a very high fatty meal, so things like steak and eggs, because that brings out your vascularity a lot more, so your veins pop through. And then even the hour before the photo shoot, believe it or not, I'll eat Haribo, I'll eat sweets, because my body's it's got a lack of energy, and my actual muscles have got no glycogen left in them, so they're crying out for it. As soon as those simple sugars hit my system, my muscles just swell up, and it makes me look a lot bigger than what I actually am at that point. But yeah, definitely not something you can just do prior to a holiday. It would just be too dangerous. You go off and start drinking alcohol after that, it's just very dangerous to the body.
So yeah, make sure you get professional
not something you
advice.
Just do willy-nilly.
Speak to an expert.
I've got the photo up, so I want to get Angelos' reaction live on the audio. That's the picture there.
As a heterosexual male,
you can appreciate.
I can appreciate the skill and the effort that's gone behind that. So I'm sure many ladies and men will appreciate the photo. So that's a mega achievement, James.
Thank you very much.
That's honestly really,
you
really
were going
good.
to say. It looks like when you look in the mirror, look at yourself.
Yeah, I'm not big-headed. I'm a humble kind of guy. When these,
we know it's just photoshopped though.
Yeah, just the head on. We should do that. Okay, so this podcast. This podcast is all about success. Sorry, I got distracted then, just thinking about photoshopping that picture onto my head onto that picture. This podcast is all about success. We're talking about business, entrepreneurship, success in life, all that kind of stuff. And as such, we ask everyone we interview, what does success mean to you?
Success. That's quite a good one, to be fair. For me, it's all about my well-being. To be fair, it's all about my family life. Having a good strong family and base support around me, I think that's massive, and just having my overall health. Yes, money comes with that. Do you know what I mean? If you have a passion for something, eventually, if you're lucky enough, something will come from that. But I don't think it's all down to money for me personally. It's all about how you feel and just having a good long quality of life. I like the fact that someone can phone me up and go, James, I've really hurt my ankle, but I'm booked in to do the Plymouth 10k tomorrow, do you want to do it? And I'll just go, I'll drop out, I'll do it. Just being able to go off and just do what I want. There's no boundaries for me.
You're not being held back by your body, and
I'm not going to think, I'm not sure I can do that, or oh, I don't want to embarrass myself. For me, that's a great success for me. I can just go and do what I want and not fear it.
Yeah.
That's an awesome answer.
Yeah.
That really is great. You hit on two things there. Follow your passion, and probably the success will come, and the money side of things. But if you do what you love, you will get rewarded, and also not having any limits on your own body.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No, really good answer. And finally, can you give our listeners one bit of advice to help them achieve success? And as this is all about sort of health and well-being, so just one bit of advice that people can take away to help them achieve the success in their health and well-being life.
I'll probably give you two too fast.
Okay. That's fine.
For me, it will be limiting your alcohol consumption. Okay, especially in Britain, we've got a thing about heavy drinking, binge drinking, as they like to call it. Even people I speak to, they'll go home from work, and because it's Tuesday, they'll open up the wine.
Because it's Tuesday.
Because it's a Tuesday.
Wine Tuesdays.
Yeah. So limiting your alcohol. I'm not saying don't drink, but just not just for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? Have a reason to drink it, because that affects things like your sleep, your stress levels, and that then plays a massive role in your well-being. Do you know what I mean? If you're drinking alcohol and you can't sleep, how are you going to feel the following day, waking up, going to work? And then it's caffeine as well. People love caffeine. They wake up in the morning, they need a coffee to get out of bed. Do you? Your stress levels are already at the highest point of where they should be throughout the day because you've just woken up. And then adding that caffeine just raises your stress levels even higher.
Right.
So no, I don't think people need caffeine as much as they think they do. It's become a habit. So for me, is try and knock off that caffeine as much as possible and the alcohol, and then from there, your health will start to improve anyway. Do you know what I mean? Your stress levels will be lower, you'll sleep better, and everything will roll from there.
That's really good. They're two actionable things that people could do today and sort of immediately start feeling the benefits. So yeah, that's great. Thanks, James.
Well, I'm sure people at home will want to get in contact with you with questions, or just thanking you for the inspiration. What's the best way for people to get in contact with you, James?
Probably the best way would be through my Facebook page, so that'll be at James Jordan Fitness. Else not. Probably what I'll do is on the podcast that's live out, I'll probably put up my email address as well, which is jamesjordan_3@hotmail.co.uk. If obviously you can't remember it, but I'll type it up and put it in there for you.
No problem, James. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
No problem at all. Thank you very much.
And we want to know your thoughts and experiences with health and fitness, so drop us an email on hello@pig.network or get in touch on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram.
And thank you for listening to Pig Pods, your success podcast. Click subscribe, leave us a review, and we look forward to your comments on the Pig Pod Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So I've been Angelos.
And I've been Mo.
And see you again on the next exciting Pig Pod.
You've been listening to Pig Pods. Click subscribe for more incredible content. More details can be found at www.pig.network.